Hey everybody, Ken Clark here out in the desert. The desert of Nevada. More specifically, Black Rock City, a city of 70,000 people that appears and disappears in a week, otherwise known as Burning Man.
So, yep, that's me at Burning Man. I feel like I should just stop and explain a little bit about what's going on here. I decided to take a year sabbatical and explore a little. If you've followed me much at all over the last few years, you also know that I'm really into sharing what I've learned in these little amateur videos. And the only thing I want to say about Burning Man, kind of to define it, is that it is purposefully defined very broadly. Like, the more you try to nail it down, the less accurate you are. It's an event that's been going on for more than 30 years, and it includes amazing art and music and camping in a very unforgiving desert. The organizers and participants give a lot of weight to what they call the 10 principles. It's these 10 principles that I found just as interesting as the event itself. And as I researched the background of this event this year, I found myself wondering one thing. Could the culture of this event, and specifically those 10 principles, give us some better tools to improve our current, cultural, political strife in this country and maybe even around the world? Yes, I'm just that much of a public policy nerd that I went to Burning Man and turned it into a class project. But I'm also one of those guys who went to Model United Nations conferences in college when everyone else went on spring break to the beach. Anyway, I want to share with you what I found through my interviews with people who are involved with the burn, who will speak about how the culture of this event and the 10 principles are starting to infuse into our broader culture, what burners call the default world. I really think that the people I interview about this event have some very interesting thoughts that are worth exploring, especially if you're hoping for positive social change. So it's just me, my smartphone, and very basic editing software. Before we start, I want to get a couple things out of the way. First, if you think you know what this event is just from the news, you probably have it wrong. Reporters like to portray Burning Man as a giant rave in the desert populated by model-esque, scantily clad people. And while that happens there, it really represents so little of why people put themselves through these harsh conditions just to be here. I mean, there's definitely something more going on, which is very transformative culturally. There is something powerful about these shared values that not only glue its participants together year-round, but also which enables them to create a city of more than 70,000 people in a matter of days in the middle of an empty desert. Second, while the Burning Man experience has its truly astounding elements, especially the art, it's not without its problems. In the coming interviews, I struggled with how I feel about how the event tries to live up to two of its principles, specifically leaving no trace and radical inclusion. I want to start with a simple list of the 10 principles. Now, bear with me, it's kind of a long list, but I have faith in you. I think you can make it through. Radical inclusion. Anyone may be part of Burning Man. We welcome and respect the stranger. No prerequisites exist for participation in our community. Gifting. Burning Man is devoted to acts of gift giving. The value of a gift is unconditional. Gifting does not contemplate a return or an exchange for something of equal value. Decommodification. In order to preserve the spirit of gift giving, our community seeks to create social environments that are unmediated by commercial sponsorships, transactions, or advertising. We stand ready to protect our culture from such exploitation. We resist the substitution of consumption for participatory experience. Radical self-reliance. Burning Man encourages the individual to discover, exercise, and rely on his or her inner resources. Radical self-expression. Radical self-expression arises from the unique gifts of the individual. No one other than the individual or a collaborating group can determine its content. It is offered as a gift to others. In this spirit, the giver should respect the rights and the liberties of the recipient. Communal effort. Our community values creative cooperation and collaboration. We strive to produce, promote, and protect social networks, public spaces, works of art, and methods of communication that support such interaction. Civic responsibility. We value civil society. Community members who organize events should assume responsibility for public welfare and endeavor to communicate civic responsibilities to participants. They must also assume responsibility for conducting events in accordance with local, state, and federal law. Leaving no trace. Our community respects the environment. We are committed to leaving no physical trace of our activities wherever we gather. We clean up after ourselves and endeavor, whenever possible, to leave such places in a better state than we found them. Participation. Our community is committed to a radically participatory ethic. We believe that transformative change, whether in the individual or in society, can occur only through the medium of deeply personal participation. We achieve being through doing. Everyone is invited to work. Everyone is invited to play. We make the world real through actions that open the heart. Immediacy. Immediate experience is, in many ways, the most important touchstone of value in our culture. We seek to overcome barriers that stand between us and a recognition of our inner selves, the reality of those around us, participation in society, and contact with a natural world exceeding human powers. No idea can substitute for this experience. So anyway, back to my failed attempt to record this video in the desert. Note to self, smartphone batteries don't really last that long in the heat. In the next episode, I take some issue with Burning Man's aspiration to leave no trace. And spoiler alert, I think they leave a whole bunch of trace.
We're going to get hit by a dust storm here in a second. But I found that the former president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Steve Benjamin, mayor of Columbia, South Carolina, came last year. And there's an article in Governing Magazine from August of this year talking about how the 10 principles of Burning Man and the way this organization handles public art could be very beneficial to cities. So I'm going to hopefully find some folks associated with that in some way. And but like I said, it's kind of hard. It's hard to get anything done around here because it's dusty and it's hot and it's beautiful.